We're always so excited to see you, always excited because, you know, Ria and I share our values, the books that we are reading on money, mindset, and success. And what does success really mean? What does money mean to you? Do you feel joyous, calm, exhilarated, fun? What are your beliefs around money? And so today, Ria is going to be sharing from her book, Robert Kiyosaki's Financial IQ. So welcome everybody to the show. And Ria is going to share with you. So my name is Alka.
My name is Ria, and
welcome to our show. So Ria, I'm going to pass the mic on to you.
Yes, thank you, Alka. So today's topic, I want to share with you Robert Kiyosaki's Increase Your Financial IQ. And there are two things that I would like to share with you today, which is the rules of money. And the first rule of money, he talks about in 1971, when President Richard Nixon changed having the gold standard as initially as being the gold standard, and he took the gold standard in 1971 off. So now when the gold is no longer a standard for exchanging, now we are exchanging currencies, monies now, and that was in 1971 when President Richard Nixon took the gold as the standard for exchanging commodities, right? Exchanging commodities. So what happened, now we use papers. So then the governments all over the world are printing their own money. So that's where the currency took a big part. Now, up to present, we are doing currency. So the US dollar is no longer pegged with a gold standard, with the gold as the standard. So everybody now is in the currency. So what that means is that when governments are printing money everywhere, so the US government printed money during the 2008 housing crisis. The US government printed a lot of money, more money than they ever printed during the pandemic. So what that means is that there is a devaluation of our paper money. So what that means is that $1 is no longer $1. That becomes 50 cents because of the devaluation. So what that means for us, because the money, the paper money, the currency, what does currency means? It means current, right? So what does current do? It needs to move, it needs to circulate, it's an energy, it has to move around. If it is not moving, it is dying. So with our money, we have to move it around, otherwise it devalues. So if we save our money either in our house, in our piggy bank, or in the real bank, that money will lose us money because of the devaluation. They say inflation is the invincible tax. Inflation is the invincible tax. So what does mean? Yes, when you look at your money in your bank statement, either digitally or paper, you'll see that you'll still have 100,000. If you save 100,000 in the bank, you'll see it in paper, but that 100,000, when you use it, is no longer 100,000. Why? Because of the invincible tax, which is inflation. So that's the rule number one, the new rule of money, Alka. What has been your experience with the rule number one, which is taking the gold as not the standard anymore?
Well, you know, it's very interesting because, you know, the invincible tax, you know, inflation comes and it robs us. It robs us of our livelihood. It robs us of, you know, our potential to earn money. And I was just, there was a documentary just last night, and Grant Cardone, he talks about money. He's, you know, interviewing people like in the streets. What's their mindset? What have they been taught to believe around money, whether it's from the, you know, your parents, society, the educational system? And so money is very important. So that rule number one, I absolutely agree 100%, because, you know, when it comes to inflation just robs us. It kills off our earning potential. So that's a great point.
So I agree with you. So what solves our money problem is the financial IQ, right? So when we have problem, we have to be problem solvers to have more money. So when we solve the money problem, that means our financial IQ is increasing as well. And when our financial IQ is increasing, that means more money is coming our way. We get more money, we get wealthier, we get richer. So reverse it. If we do not know how to solve our money problems, that means our financial IQ is lower, right? If we do not solve our money problems, we are not helping our financial IQ is less. And what that means is we do not have a lot of money, we become poor. And when we become poor, then we have more money problems. So if we want to have more money, we got to know how to solve our financial problems. Now, I want to share with you the rule number 2, the new rule of money, which was in 1974. Can you imagine 1971?
Wow.
Gold was off as the standard. In 1974, have you heard of pension plans, Alka?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So pension plan was true before 1974. If you are familiar now, a 401k, KIAs, IRA, right? Self-directed IRA, traditional IRA. What happened in 1974, they stopped the pension plans. So employers were not obliged to give you pension plan for life. You know, if you work employers before in 1960, 1950, or before 1974, you were getting pension plans for life, right? Because you've worked for their company for a long time. Now, in 74 and after, up to present, it's no longer pension plans. The employee, if you contribute, then your employer, not true for all employers, only certain employers will contribute to the amount you put in. A lot of times here in the USA, people contribute $1 and the employer contributes 50 cents. So this could be in either the 401k or the IRA, traditional IRA, or you as an employee or as an employer, you have your own small business, then you can open up your own retirement account. So the pension plan, which is a guaranteed retirement, you know, the pension that you get every month from your employer before was true before 1974. But after that, 1974 up to present, it no longer exists. So now we are left on our own.
Wow, Rhea, that is shocking, because viewers listening, you know, they may wonder now. So I have 2 questions for you, Rhea. So when you talked about the problem solving, what are some of the ways that viewers listening today are probably wondering the same thoughts? Okay, how do we go about solving problems? What is the best way to solve our money problems? And then the second point you mentioned about the pension, which is not appealing anymore. And, you know, viewers are now going to wonder, okay, so if I get into employment, I will not be guaranteed a pension plan. So could you share that with us?
So number 1 is, how do you solve your money problem? Number 1, each one of us needs to know our own personal financial statement, because if you do not acknowledge, accept that you're not making a lot, right, and not knowing what you have. So personal financial statements are assets, liabilities, income, expense. So you've got to know what your personal financial statement is. We've got to know what our financial status is. So we've got to have a piece of paper, write down all our income and all our expense. We've got to write down all our assets and all our liabilities. Now, when we add those and we subtract the expenses and the liabilities from it, then it tells you how much money you have left. So knowing what your financial status is right now will play a big role. Now, let's say you have less. less money, right? Let's say you're living 5,000 after deducting all expense. Now, the question I would ask myself is, how do I get other forms of money? How do I get other drips of money? We can only deduct so much expense. Yes, we cannot eat out. You know, we may not go out to eat every week. We may decrease our, you know, grocery shopping. We can eat noodle ramens every day, right? Or we can eat bread every day just to decrease our expenses. But if we decrease the expense, there is only so much that we can decrease it. But if we look at the income, there is no ceiling to the income. We can be infinite with the income, but with the expense, we can only decrease so much, because why? We have to live. We have to pay the rent. We have to pay water. We have to pay sewer. We have to pay garbage. We have to pay electric. We have to pay taxes. We have to eat. You know, there's only so much that we can reduce, but we can make more income. So how do we solve our money problems? Is number one, being aware, acknowledging what we have by doing our own personal financial statement. And number two, asking, where can I get all this other drips of income? And, you know, decrease your expense if you can. But like I said, you can only decrease so much and increase more to infinity on the income side of things. Now,
exactly.
On the pension plan that you were mentioning, what was your question on the pension plan?
So on the pension plan, I was just saying that viewers listening are going to wonder, okay, so if I get into employment now, I will not be guaranteed a pension plan, which for us back in the days was a guaranteed that we get that, you know, when we retired. So now that will not be a guaranteed form. So people are going to be disheartened getting into employment, because
yes,
that won't be the case.
So that is correct. There is no more pension plan, no more pension plan since 1974. We have retirement account. But, you know, you have to look at it as a silver lining, right? It's a blessing in disguise. If I was employed, I'm not employed right now. What I'm saying is, if I was employed, I'll put in as much as what my employer would contribute. So there's only a certain portion that your employer would contribute. So you're going to max that out. And then number two, whatever leftover you have is you invest it in you, in your personal development, because you are the best investment ever. If the more money that you put into yourself, that investment in you, nobody can steal it. Nobody can take it away from you. That return on you is your best personal appreciation, right? More appreciation than gold, than real estate, than oil, than stocks. Why? Because it's in you and it has infinite return. And how would you know that the investment in you is working? You will know by looking at your bank statements, because that means the more you develop yourself, the more money should be coming in to your bank account, because that means whatever knowledge you learned, you're deploying it, that would translate to solving other people's problem. And when you solve other people's problem, they will pay you because you bring value to them, and they're going to provide you the money that you provided value to them in return.
Well, Ria, you know what? Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, that is, you know, so on point. So viewers, friends, I hope that what Ria just shared, that you got a lot of information, a lot of nuggets, what Ria has shared with us, because, you know, money is not easy concept to learn, to understand, because even when we get into adulthood, some of us are not even equipped when it comes to money. So I hope that, you know, what you got out of the session today, you know, is a lot of value. Ria brought a lot of value to you, because I know, you know, we can talk about money all day, but you know, it also comes down to the implementation, right, Ria? We have to implement. So, you know, reading a book on money or listening to Ria and I talking about money, you have to implement. So we have come to the end of the show, but you know, it's always a pleasure being with you guys, because you know, you guys are just amazing and we always value you. So keep on being great, keep on doing well, keep on, you know, learning as much as you want, because it doesn't matter how old you are, learning is always constant. Learning, we're always constantly learning. And if you want to know about money, then you know, just learn and just, you know, implement on that as well. So friends, we have come to the end of the show, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. So have a great day, guys.